Okay, so Jordan River mushroom slash mushroom skip, round two. Round two. Last video I made, I thought I had kind of run the course of all of the ideas that I had regarding, um, what goes into mushroom skip. Hey, we got one. Um, but since then, I've had a couple new ideas and tried them out. I was hoping to get something a little more consistent of a setup, something that wasn't just basically one chance out of 10 or 15 random, um, and that didn't turn out to necessarily be the case. Um, but it did reaffirm some conclusions that I came to from round one, the previous video, and I also did learn a couple new things that I think, if they're not useful as far as making it, actually doing the inputs to make the mushroom collection happen. At least kind of gives some information as far as what's going on and why it happens or doesn't happen. So learn some new things. One of my thoughts was that the collection seemed to be subpixel dependent based on this left wall way back here, where Mario swims from that left wall. So one of my thoughts was, hey, what if we remove that dependence and turn back to the left wall right here, and see if we can get a different set of dependencies based on that kind of starting point. And So I used the same kind of technique as before. I've got you can see it kind of automated, iterating through a whole bunch of different attempts here. I've got a Lua script that automates the inputs and varies the inputs based on a couple different timings. And I kind of changed things up. One of the things that I did to improve things is, rather than here's a line that was reporting information before, where it was each line was saying, hey, the kick happened here, and hey, the speed was this speed, in every individual line. What I did was I changed those all to just put commas in between the values. So it's essentially outputting down here, the pixel and subpixel of a couple different events and speed and all that, in essentially comma separated values. So what I did was basically, copy and paste, once the iteration was done running through the entire console output here, into a text document, then just changed the extension to CSV, and that allows me to open it up in Excel and have all of the information just easily, in a format really easy to manipulate the data. So let's see. I also included. I had what I have here, the speed that Mario was at when he kicks the shell, and I also included figured out a way to have the script report back what frame the goal tape was broken at, because I kind of felt like that was ultimately really like the subpixel or sorry, the subpixel that the frame was broken at, and I felt like that was ultimately the subpixel that mattered. There's a lot that can happen between swimming from whatever left wall, so I felt like the gold tape being broken, I wanted to see what the subpixels of that were. And then I also, what did I do? So these are the frames between the kick and the gold tape breaking is what I had here, and that ended up getting me some good information. But what didn't happen is I didn't get, with that turn back strat, anything more consistent. So in here, the sum basically, let me find one here in this got 'em column. So if I got a 1 here, that means Mario collected the mushroom after the gold tape. So if I sum this, we got 291 collections, and we've got, well, this is 1921, includes the column header. So that's 1920 iterations that the script iterates through. So if we go 291 divided by 1920, that's still about a 15% chance that it happens. So I didn't come up with something that was, more consistent than what I had before, but still felt like I learned some things. So one of the things that I learned is, one of the cool things about having all of the information from each of the attempts in the spreadsheet format is I can just go ahead and sort. Let's put all of the successful mushroom collections right up top. And so in all of the instances that Mario collects the mushrooms, one of the things that I found was they were every single one of these was 17 or 18 frames between the kick and the gold tape collection. So that was interesting. I feel like that's a solid piece of information. And one of I think the reason for that is that's the amount of that's the number of frames that the kick animation takes. So when Mario kicks the shell, I guess he can't re-grab it within that number of frames. So I think what's happening is you want to kick the shell exactly that number of frames before you break the gold tape, and then the re-grab will happen as the gold tape breaks, and then you need to be on exactly the right subpixel so that the game doesn't have enough time. The engine doesn't have enough time to basically flip the mushroom back in front of Mario. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this here and open up one of the tasks that I found that in. Let's see. Let me open that up here. So that would be the let's see. So one of the things that I did is just kind of tried out. Okay, so as I'm swimming through here, I went ahead and put the kick input right here, and let's see, so there's the first frame, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that one seemed a little slow. I didn't add the swim in on that one because if I swam, I'd have, Mario would have hit the munchers on the ceiling there. But then here, just to try out that kicking and re-grabbing and figure out what was going on there. Threw a couple of those in there. So here I had another kick input, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's right there around 17, 18, 19, 20 frames that the kick animation is happening before Mario regrabs the shell. And I think that's the reason for the precise timing, and the reason that it's so tight like that. Of course, the vertical, the swim input is in there because you're kicking the shell up. You have to have the vertical speed to regrab the shell. And what else do I got? What else do I got? Going through all of the iterations that I hear, the 1920 of them, I still found that it was that the goal, that getting the mushroom at the goal was subpixel dependent. So if I sort, let's see, so if I sort these, alright, so I got the collection happens 3576.9, 17 or 18 frames between the kick and the goal. That works. 3577 doesn't. And then let's see, so 3576.8, I got nothing in the 3576.8 subpixel that collects it, so there's one out. 3576.7, I got some that collect. 3576.6, I've got some that collect. That one's actually pretty good. And let's see, 3576.5, breaking the gold tape, got some that collect. Not as many though. 3576.4, how'd we do? Got some that collect. That one's actually pretty freaking good. Lots of them that collect. But for each of these, they still kind of vary between 5 and 20%, with the overall average still landing around 15%. So if we go to next subpixel, dot 3, we got some of them. 3576.2. We got nothing in the 3576.2 that collects, and we got nothing in 3576.14 that collects, and we do here nothing in 3576.13 that collects. We do have reasonable amount in 3576.12 that collects. So anyway, I mean, you can kind of see I'm looking at the gold tape breaking subpixels and trying to see, is that still dependent? And it looks like it is. It still looks like it's about 50-50. I think there's 9 gold tape breaking subpixels that have collections, mushroom collections that happen at them. But then I think there might be like 1 or 2 subpixels that none of my inputs landed on. But regardless, I think it's still about 50-50 to get the right subpixel to collect the mushroom. What else do I got? Let's see. So another thing that I ended up kind of finding once I saw that this 17 or 18 frames before the gold tape breaking was kind of the Goldilocks spot, you know, the kind of dependent move to make the mushroom collection happen. Um, if I open up, let me drop this down, and if I open up my first mushroom skip, um, task input that I had here, it was kind of a really tight, like, you know, you're swimming right, and then you let go of the right to slow down just a little bit, and then you kick the shell, and then 6 frames later, you swim up and re-grab the shell at the gold tape. It's this real kind of like 2 frame, 6 frame window kind of thing going on here. Um, but and that was just kind of based on like just hammering the inputs on and then manipulating them as you needed to in order to make it happen. But then I kind of started wondering, well, I mean, what if you were going slower? So actually, I'm going to go ahead and open up the. Come on. Show me the Lua console. So if I open up the Super Mario World Lua console, and it shows, let's see, so right here, when Mario kicks the shell, he has a speed of 29. And most of what I had in here, the speed was like 30, 31, 32, 28, 29, that kind of thing. But I was interested to see what could I do it slower. Like if Mario is going slower, if it just needs to be the shell needs to be kicked 18 frames before the goal tape. I mean, maybe the kick just happens later if he's going slower. And I ended up finding some of those. And I recorded them. So if I open up my slow mushroom here, this is the one I was showing you where actually, hang on. Let me remove the hitbox because it's distracting. And let's go back to the inputs here. So what I ended up finding was kind of a slow set of inputs. So I slowed down way earlier. The other mushroom collection that I found had the slowing down like way up here, really close to where the kick was. So this one is slowing down way earlier. Mario actually slows down before the shell is right there at the gold tape post, then kicks right about when Mario's fist is there at the gold tape post. And these right inputs are actually, if I didn't have those there, Mario would be going slow enough that he doesn't even make it all the way to the gold tape. So what I've got there is it still has the kick happens, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and the level ends there. So the kick still happens 18 frames before the gold tape breaks, and this one does happen to get a mushroom collection, which I thought was interesting. So there is kind of a slow strat tab here, and it's a different set of inputs. I don't know if this set of inputs would be easier to do. But it's not all like 2 frame windows all kind of stacked around each other. Like I say, the kick is still 18 frames before the level ends, and the grab is still 6 frames after the kick. But I think they have a little bit wider windows on the slowing down. So if I've got a frame there, there's a 3-frame window. So, well, let's see. Let me fix that. So I had 2 frames backwards. Let me see if I have another frame forwards. Another frame forward. So that's like a 4-frame window on slowing down here. And then the kick, I think, is still pretty tight. Like, kick is still only has a 2-frame window in order to collect the mushroom. But then I think the swim is still, there we go. So there's the beginning of the window, and then we got just 2 frames on the swim. So I don't know how this set of inputs, I don't think this needs to not be there. But I think that's there's a huge window for adding this right input to keep Mario's speed up in order to collect the mushroom. Like lots of frames to do that. Maybe not. Those set of inputs might be easier to do. I don't know. I don't RTA any of this, so be interested if anybody out there wants to try this different set of inputs and see how it does. I did also, let's see, what did I do? I found a couple more of these, and they all had the same kind of wider windows there. So where'd my other slow mushroom go? So I had another slow mushroom 2. We open that up, and we're gonna turn these off. But this one was similar. With I thought I turned the hitboxes off. They're kind of in the way. But the same thing. A little bit slower set of inputs there, and I forgot to mention the kick here in the other set of collections that I had here. It was all 28, 29, 30, 31, and this one works with a speed of just 24 and collects the mushroom. And if I think this one I did even slower. And let's turn this off. I think this one I did even slower. The kick happens at just speed of 16, so he's going real slow and still collects the mushroom. So, I mean, ultimately the kick has to be 17 or 18 frames from the goal post, and I mean that means you have to look into the future in order to know when that is. So it's never going to be, I don't think it's ever going to be consistent unless you can get a really good setup for it. And so far it looks like it's still 50-50 on the subpixels. Like I found in here, 50-50 on the subpixels to be able to have the mushroom collection happen right at the right gold tape subpixel. But I was thinking maybe with a different set of inputs here, having a different speed coming into the gold tape, that might end up working. Maybe a different set of inputs here might have different visual cues. So one of my thoughts is, all right, so here Mario starts slowing down. I don't know if that's a great visual cue for Mario to start slowing down right there. And then here Mario kicks the shell, and then a few frames later add the right input in order to speed up and swim up. I don't know if that's helpful. Then if I look at the second slow mushroom skip input that I have here, I don't know. Maybe these visual cues might be reasonable. So right about here. So right when the mushroom or the shell is just before the goal post, um, start slowing down. Then let's see, we kick right about when Mario is in front of the goalpost there, and then immediately press right. A couple few frames later, grab and swim. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a set of inputs there that line up with visual cues that might make it more consistent. But like I say, still 50-50 on the subpixel, and tough. Just at least 2, 3, 4, 5 inputs to do with really tight windows to get the inputs right. And I don't know, but this is where I got to after round 2 of iterating through, seeing what happened, and figured I'd throw it out there. So let me know what you guys think, and have a good one.